Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in Italy, still in Tuscany, in a city called Sensepolcro, and it's quite early in the morning. I was one of the first one to be here, so I have a lot to show you. Wait for it. Welcome back in Laughing Museum. This fresco, and I'm gonna try to hide myself a little bit from that. Piero della Francesca, the Resurrection, called by Aldous Huxley, has the most beautiful fresco in the entire world. A few things, right? Piero is 70 years old when he painted that fantastic fresco. And what interests me here, he really believes in resurrection and immortality. I like the figure of the warrior. You know what? The first impression I had when I saw that fresco was that it really looked like a painting by Ingres that I really like in the Louvre, and I'm going to put that on the screen, of course, right? So it's kind of a jumping out of his grave. The cross is in his fists, like ready to go for a fight, like he got a lens, and his clothes is like a armor, is like a warrior. The wind is like on his way, and it's kind of making his toes bigger than he is, so look like a fit as ever for sure. His face have been through death, and he's coming back from death. He's still having the mark of being tortured, but there's no feeling of pain per se. The entire countryside behind is really interesting, right? Plato's shade and light, which is definitely a signature of Piero della Francesca. It's giving a soul, and this is the early day, between night and day, probably my favorite time personally. And it is both surreal and tragic at the same time. Roberto Longhi used to say that it is a kind of a almost looking like an animal, look like a peasant. But Roberto Longhi also said the Christ is very natural and almost more abstract than all the Christ depended before. And I read that text, and the comment of that text that Longhi is asking is, which is by Damien Wigney, which I really admire, and has been my guide for this whole trip in Arezzo area. And he says that I love Longhi, everybody wrote Roberto Longhi, but he said, I wonder if Longhi ever seen a real peasant to make this kind of a Kenneth Clarke is like a god of the countryside, as human beings are still asleep. Albert Camus is talking about savage grandeur of this coming back to life Christ. There's so much comment on this one. That was the fresco, Piero della Francesca. Hope you enjoyed that piece by Piero della Francesca. No matter what you do, don't forget, if you're not doing it with a smile, well, you might be doing it wrong. Thank you so much. Thumbs up, subscribe, will mean the world to me. You guys take care.